Ice is out.
Ice is out.
Look. Right hand of God the Father Almighty.
What do you think?
Back in the saddle again.
Hey, thanks.
Is he riding it or
He
grass to it?
He's riding in. I don't know what he. Let's let him describe that.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, good to see you.
Thank you.
If they're still tearing those tickets apart.
Probably, yeah.
The second one, he's not here. Oh, she's not there.
You're gonna hang somebody else. Oh, Mr. Clarkson here, been set up yet?
Well, they waiting on AJ and Grant too.
No, I meant the
Those, yeah.
Clarkson, the one in the office.
So that's it.
It's 7 o'clock. I want to welcome everybody to the March the 9th board meeting. If you would stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming to the meeting this evening. Thank you very much. After the annual meeting, we had an election of the officers, and I want to announce who they are now. Tom Novak is vice president. Jim Johnson is the treasurer. Paul Forbes is the secretary. And I lucked out and became president.
Money's right.
The pay is good. I can't complain about that. The liaisons were appointed or requested or voted on at that same meeting. A&E, the liaison will be Paul Forbes. Thank you, Paul. Campgrounds would be myself. Jeff Brooks has cleanup. Jim Johnson has election committee. Tom has government, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Steve has lake. Thank you. Long-term planning is AJ. Grant Helnack, correct?
Correct.
And John Siltation.
There you go.
Okay. Announcements, Dwayne Kelly, Clear Creek Conservancy. None?
Dwayne County, 282 Pictures Landing. I really don't have anything, just except we still need to seal the spillway sometime this summer. We're hoping we won't have to lower the lake. We're hoping that maybe July or August we'll not have any rain. It'll go down 4 or 5 inches and we can do it at that time.
Thank you. Floyd Township Fire, Brian Irwin. Neighborhood Watch, April Land. I didn't see April. HLCS, Rick Miller.
Yes, I have something.
There we go.
First of all, I'm thrilled to report that we had a number of people volunteer to contribute and work with HLCS after the annual meeting. They were listening, and we're up to a total of 10 volunteers, including myself. I'm really excited to announce that Mary Matruzzi stepped up and volunteered to be associate publisher. And that's important to me because if I croak or get hit by a truck, this thing will move on without me. So, thanks to all of those people. I also made an announcement that we were working on, and I can tell you now there is truly an app for that. You can now carry HLCS on your iPad or iPhone or an Android device around in your pocket, because you can now go to Google Play or the Apple Store and download the app. Just search for HLCS Mobile.
Great.
We launched this week the real estate marketplace page, and Heather Ludlow is a contributor for that, so she's making that happen. We're working actively on the Meet Your Neighbors page, where you can get to know more about your friends and people around Heritage Lake, and Doug Scott stepped up to contribute for that one. Newsletter readership is strong, with over 300 newsletters distributed so far this month. And I did a third printing on that today. Online views to date are 336. These are healthy indicators for any publication, let alone a little community newsletter. So we're proud of that. And just to tickle your curiosity, we're working on new changes for the April issue of the newsletter. If we're successful, it should be fairly dramatic look and change, and I'm looking forward to getting feedback for that. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, and your group's doing a great job.
Thank you.
I did look at that real estate page, I don't know, yesterday,
Yeah.
I guess. That was interesting, it's really nice. What, say 11 homes are for sale?
Yep, something like that.
Okay, thank you, Rick, and thank your group, please. Helnack, Heather Ludlow?
I've got our report.
Okay.
So the Easter egg hunt will be on Saturday, April 11th. The first hunt is at 10 o'clock and the second is at 11. They need small wrap candy donated that will be able to fit in a standard size Easter egg. And if volunteers would also like to help fill it, it would be on the Thursday and Friday before at the clubhouse starting at 6. They're also looking for volunteers for the actual Easter egg day hunt. And if you could contact Heather Ludlow, her number's 317-698-2311. Also fireworks, easiest way to donate for fireworks is when you're paying your dues. They would appreciate donations for fireworks. Thanks.
Thank you, Grant. POA Security, Brian?
Yes, sir. We got 13 traffic stops throughout the month, 6 lockouts, 3 civil complaints, 2 alarms, 7 paper services, could be warrants or court papers, just turn over people. One domestic, 6 suspicious persons called, 2 runaways. We did locate one of the runaways the other day. 1 drug call, a fraud call, a harassment call, and an animal call. And I got some more stuff, it's gonna be long-winded, so just bear with me, it makes sense. So,
Go ahead.
as some of you know, there's some damage out in the clubhouse. I'm sure rumors have been spread of what happened, but on March 1st, 2020, at 3 in the morning, the sheriff's department was dispatched to the clubhouse for a suspicious person. Deputies located a vehicle parked against the tree in the grass. Deputies noticed that the vehicle was damaged and that the clubhouse property had been damaged as well. It should be noted that the damage was not from an accident, it was an intentional act. The suspect destroyed the fencing around the basketball court, destroyed a bike rack, some trash cans, and damaged the dumpster on the property. The suspect also destroyed part of the yard and the ground by driving through the grass, through the fence over outside. I talked to Mr. Roselle, and it's approximately $5,000, give or take, in damage. Deputies located the driver in the driver's seat of the vehicle. Deputies observed that the male driver was bleeding from the nose. A deputy knocked on the window and asked the male to step out of the vehicle. The male signaled for the deputy to go away with his hand. The deputy then asked again for the suspect to step out, and the suspect stated to the deputy that he was doing nothing wrong, and the deputy needed to go away. The deputy asked the suspect to roll his window down, and he did, approximately 4 inches. The deputy then asked the suspect again to step out of the vehicle. The suspect then became non-compliant and hostile towards law enforcement. After arguing for several minutes, the suspect agreed to step out of the vehicle. The suspect stated that he was going to roll his window up, then he was going to exit the vehicle. Then after the suspect rolled up his window, it was then starting all over, I'm not getting out. The suspect was given one more warning to exit the vehicle. He refused. A deputy then utilized his expandable baton and removed the driver's side window. The suspect was instructed once again to exit the vehicle, which he refused. The suspect then attempted to flee out of the passenger side of the vehicle. The deputy then deployed his electronic control device, or his taser, into the left side of the subject's back area. While the suspect was under the power of the taser, he was removed from the vehicle and restrained on the ground and handcuffed. The deputies then detected strong odor of alcoholic beverages on the suspect's person, and there was also multiple beer cans in plain view. While the suspect was in custody, the suspect threatened to beat up officers when the handcuffs were removed. The suspect was verbally abusive the whole time and could not be booked in when he arrived at the jail. The suspect refused to exit the patrol vehicle when he arrived at the jail. The suspect had to be forcefully removed from the vehicle. The suspect resisted law enforcement while being escorted into the jail, trying to turn and spit on the deputy. The suspect had to be taken straight to the rubber room due to his violent behavior. The suspect was charged by the sheriff's department with the following: intimidation, criminal mischief, resisting law enforcement, public intoxication, leaving the scene of a property damage accident, operating while intoxicated, criminal trespass, and disorderly conduct. These were the charges that the sheriff's department sent to the prosecutor's office. After the suspects went to court, the suspect was read the following charges that our Putnam County prosecutor decided to file. He was charged with operating while intoxicated, a C misdemeanor, disorderly conduct, a B misdemeanor, and criminal mischief, a B misdemeanor. Out of the 8 charges that the suspect was originally charged with, our prosecutor's office only charged the suspect with 3 misdemeanors. The criminal mischief charge was only the Class B misdemeanor charge. If you look at IC code 354312A, it states that a person who recklessly, knowingly, or intentionally damages or defaces the property of another person without the person's consent commits criminal mischief, a Class B misdemeanor. However, the offense is a Class A misdemeanor if the loss is at least $750 but less than $50,000. The pictures of the damage are clear that there is over $750 damage, and Mr. Rosell's already told us that there's approximately $5,000 in damage outside. My question, or your guys' question should be, how come it wasn't up to the misdemeanor? It's your property out here. Another question we have is why the suspect wasn't charged with resisting. The deputy had to bust out the window of the vehicle, then he had to tase the suspect. The suspect continued to resist the deputies the whole time they were in there. They had to take him to the hospital where he resisted, escorted him to jail where he resisted more, had to be forcefully removed from the vehicle. and he was continuing to spit on, to attempt to spit on the deputy. Now, we're not trying to badmouth the prosecutor's office at all, but I actually have a good relationship with Mr. Bookwater. We talk often. But I'm not sure who decides the charges up there. But however, all of you hold law enforcement accountable for what we do and every other officer in this country. So I think it's time that the prosecutor's office be held accountable for this, because your stuff got destroyed. He's got 3 misdemeanors he's gonna be stuck on the wrist, and nothing's gonna happen. So if you have any questions, I direct the calls to the prosecutor's office. Also, Sheriff Stockton advised if you guys wanna, the inmate work crew to help with repairs, just have Mr. Roselle make arrangements, and he's willing to send them over.
Good.
That's all.
Heck of an evening, huh?
Yeah, glad I wasn't there.
Thank you. Is that all you had?
That's it.
Okay, thanks very much, Brian.
He's the taser instructor, so.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
One of them.
Did you do the taser?
No, he would have probably held that trigger a little longer.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, I don't know what allowed the guy to shut it off.
I thought you deserved to do a couple more rounds.
Unbelievable. That's a heck of a story. Garden Club, Anita Johnson.
On the report, Anita's not gonna be here this evening. She is doing a bee pollination and survival meeting in Greencastle.
A what?
Bee pollination and survival. It's a meeting that she's having that, we're trying to get more bees
Oh,
here
okay.
in the lake. But they're good bees, friendly bees. Come by and see them. We have places, and they are within our codes here. They're little buggers, they're not bumblebees, and they're not stinger bees,
Okay.
but they pollinate like. That's it.
That's the report?
That's the report.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Presentation of agenda. Any corrections or additions to the agenda? Anyone? If not, I'll take a motion to accept.
Motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
I second.
Thank you, Grant. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, February 10th board meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
February 10th executive meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented.
I think there might have been, was that the executive meeting that there was an addition put on? You have that?
I'm sorry?
It can't be right out here.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion we accept.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. February 24th operation meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
February 24th executive meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll take a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
February 29th annual meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll take a motion to accept.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Last one, February 29th reorganization meeting. Any additions or corrections to that one?
Yeah, I guess the only thing, and I think Deborah already knows about it, is under terms, the 3-year term below Rick, it should be John Reedy instead of Tom Novak.
Okay. Did you get that, Deborah?
Yeah, I already made that change, yes.
Okay, all right. Other than that, is that She said she's already made the change. I didn't get that either, so.
No, it's,
Yeah, no, I got what you mean.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
uh,
Thank you, everyone. Can't understand why everybody doesn't want to run for the board and go to all these meetings. Treasurer's report, Jim Johnson, please.
Thanks, Rick. Our total income for February is $118,544 with expenses of $74,460. Net income balance of $44,084. Total income year-to-date is $204,592. Expenses $129,589, leaving a net income balance of $75,003. In terms of our cash position, we have $252,201 in short term, and our investments, which are made up of CDs, money markets, and checking, is $776,788. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you, JJ. Board committee reports, A&E, Ben Fuchs. I saw Ben back there.
Ben Fuchs, 77 Gettysburg. February, we had 8 permits approved, 1 house, 2 garages, 2 detached buildings, garages, 3 fences. The garage was 5,336 square feet.
Garage was?
2 garages.
For the
Did I say
total.
that wrong?
You said a garage was 5,000.
The garage was 5,000 square feet.
The house is 5,336 square feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what he meant to say.
That's what he said. Thank you, Ben. Campground, Lori? I don't either.
They're still dark, I think.
Cleanup, Sarah? Government, Dick? There's Dick.
Dick Werner, 183 Jefferson. The PC commissioners, I'll tackle first. The used ambulance that was to be purchased as backup did not pass inspection, so they're continuing a search for another. They have 3 in service, just don't have a backup in case one was moved out. Residents' complaints of poor road conditions were heard from a couple of areas of the county. Thus ensued a discussion and explanation of budget limitations. The highway department funds come from sales tax on fuel, wheel tax, and excise tax. Additionally, the commissioners typically move funds from their escrow account to the highway. The state of Indiana controls tax increases, so the county has no ability to affect more income for more road repairs. Okay. So budgeting is tight. That's the total pot fluctuates. I'll just remind y'all, last month I reported that I posted a community roadmap that the highway put out. It started in 2018, goes through 2024. What roads will be resurfaced when? And it's all chip and seal resurfacing. Okay. If it's really bad, they'll grind it down first and then do like a double. The highway confirmed submission of community crossings grant to the state on 2/7/2020. Approval for PC grant funds will be learned later. And the highway also confirmed the motors are still not fixed. Seems to be a lingering pain for the commissioners and all the subsequent meetings. The commissioners meet twice a month, the council once a month, and I attend all those. So the PC council, several issues with the PC EMS have arisen, giving concern for budgeting for the year. PC Commissioner Rick Woodall appeared at the council meeting to request transfer of $175,000 from the war chest to the PC EMS in order to ensure no lack of payday funds for the staff.
and the council approved. Other EMS news announced at this meeting on February 18th is that the deputy director has also resigned, leaving temporary control to Commissioner Woodall. Former director is continuing consultations until the end of March. He moved to North Carolina to accept the job there. Hopefully, a new director will be in place by the end of March, who will then appoint his own deputy. PC Health Board, they announced an unconfirmed report that 3 DePaul professors returned from China unchecked. So they're continuing to investigate. This was about the middle of February report, so I have noticed no update in the local paper on that. Dr. Haven, who's the medical director of the County Health Board, announced imminent retirement from the board in June 2020 or June 2021, citing retirement and cost of, once he retires, he'll no longer be covered under the hospital's malpractice insurance, and it's very expensive, so he would have to maintain that as a medical member of the board. And so the board came up with a suggestion to try to find a way to cover his insurance, keep him on. Planning Commission, I noticed a bannergraphic notification of a PC Plan Commission public hearing on Thursday, March 12th in the Commissioner's Courtroom, 6:30 p.m. The subject is a proposal to amend zoning ordinances of the PC Code of Ordinances to add commercial solar energy systems as a special exception to all zoning districts. I urge our A&E committee to attend this meeting and assess any potential impact on our community. Last thing anybody wants is somebody have a field of solar collectors in their backyard shining into your house the next day. Next, Wabash Valley Power Allowance. I also noticed this in the banner graphic. There's a notification indicating the WVPA intent to follow code to discharge stormwater from construction activities associated with the Montclair Jackson Heritage Lake 69 kV electric transmission line project. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. I hadn't. But they may discharge to tributaries associated with Heritage Lake and Miller Creek. So I noticed pretty roiled water. Don't know if it was from the rain or if it's from this, potentially. So, one other thing, NDOT, they published a notification in the banner graphic recently. I know a lot of people live here, commute to Greencastle regularly, so there's a public information meeting regarding the proposed US 231 road rehabilitation project in Greencastle. The meeting will inform project scope and schedule, describe preliminary design plans, and solicit input and comments from the community. Monday, March 16th, so next Monday at 5:30 p.m. in the Greencastle City Hall. That meeting, if anyone wants to attend that. And then the CCCD next meeting is Thursday, March 19th, 10 a.m. And the next government committee meeting, Thursday, March 26th, 10 a.m. here in the clubhouse.
Thank you very much, Dick. Lake Committee, Kent Hoops. I did not see Kent.
Rick,
Yes.
I don't have a report. We're scheduled to meet on Wednesday, March the 25th. I'm waiting to hear from Kent because Kent, Dave, and Kent Stevens are not going to be here for that. So we'll reschedule the meeting, so it might be the following Wednesday. And I'll email everybody when we determine what that date is. Okay?
Thank you. Clean Water, Phil McKinley.
No report until after our next meeting.
Thank you, Phil. Long-term planning, Deborah Napier.
We're having our first meeting on March 17th, which is St. Patty's Day. So I expect to see everyone there with their planning ideas.
Green beer?
And you can bring your green beer if you want.
Ideas always get better, right?
They probably will.
What time?
That is March 17th at 7 p.m. here in the building.
Thank you, Deborah. Siltation, Dwayne Kelly.
Wayne County 282 Patriots Landing. We haven't met since October. Our next meeting is March the 26th here at the clubhouse at 7 o'clock. And everybody's welcome to come. We'll be talking about our projects for this summer.
Thank you, Dwayne. HLEPT, Darcy Schaefer? Didn't see Darcy. Election, Jim Muehlmeyer.
Election committee won't meet again until the end of this year. But I do have an update on the vote for the covenants. We now have 1,183 petitions so far, turned in either by e-vote or by paper ballot. That represents 1,591 lots, which is one lot more than I reported at the annual meeting last week. We're at 53.3% of the total lots voted so far.
And we have 7 months to go, is that?
Yeah, 6.5.
Okay.
But we're working on it.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim, do you want me to keep this on the agenda for that reason?
I'm sorry,
Do you want me to keep this on the agenda for that purpose?
with that.
The election or the covenant update?
I suppose. I mean, normally, in the past, I've turned it into Chris if I couldn't be here. We're gonna be sending out the next round of mailing. Deborah's been working real hard to get that ready. So when that goes out, we typically have kind of a jump in ballots coming in for a little bit, so the numbers should be a little better here before long. And we're working to try to form a committee to put together to go out and talk to people and see if we can't get things going a little bit after that next ballot goes out. So yeah, I'd go ahead and leave it on there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, Jim, for any reason, if you can't be here, just email me the report. I'll
Okay.
give it.
I'd be glad to.
And those mailers will be out by Friday, no later than Friday.
Good, good.
Thank you, Jim. Managers report, Ken Roselle.
Okay, I've got just a few quick things, just to kind of update, piggyback off of what Brian said. After that gentleman was arrested, I went and interviewed him in his rubber room. And come to find out, the gentleman does not have insurance. And that was another disappointment that prosecutor didn't pick up, driving without financial responsibility. But the repair to the fence, I got an estimate for $3,810. The bike rack was $372 for a total of $4,182. Our insurance company is going to take care with a $1,000 deductible, so that's what we're going to be out to. So I will get I'm in the works of getting the basketball fence repaired as soon as possible. As the warmer weather breaks, kids are going to be wanting to get in it. So
Are we gonna pursue that person for that $1,000?
we can pursue him for $1,000, and the insurance company
They'll wanna
can
go after him
pursue.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that, but he's from Texas, and I'm gonna say that where he was staying, I haven't seen the truck. I need to follow up. My guess is he's already bolted back to Texas. So. I talked to the deputy prosecutor, and they don't expect to get any money out of him. But
Did they OR bail him, or did they?
he did get bailed, but the family members that he was staying with did not post the bail. So I think it was his ex-wife that he was arguing with the night that he did this. I think she bailed him out.
Wonders never cease.
So she'll forfeit that.
He was actually talking to her when he was stuck out here, so. So anyway, I just wanna let you know what it's gonna cost us and what it's gonna cost to repair that. I'm working on that as soon as possible. The one thing I posted today, unfortunately, we've had a lot of problems with the recycle box that we put up. Jack's Trash was graciously willing to put that box out there to give it a try for the community. when nobody else would do it, no other trash companies would. So we gave it a try, and we immediately started running into problems with people leaving trash on the ground, and that is Clear Creek's property, so they were a little uptight about it at first. We started to get that in check, but then he started finding a lot of different trash in there that was not recycled material. TVs, he had multiple TVs that has been in there. He called me this morning, just kind of, he was up against the wall that he just tired of it costing him. Somebody has rolled up a mattress and pushed in there. So he just said that there's only about 20% of the container being used for actual recycled stuff. So he just said that he can't continue to have it out here and it costing him money. So I agreed, and I told him for now, until we figure out a magic wand to fix the problem, hang on to the box and pick it up. So that's where we're at with it. Unfortunately, there's, we don't live in the good old world of people that have lived out here for 25, 30 years and doing the right thing. We've got some new people in the community that just seem to not follow the rules. So, two other things. I'd like to really thank Jim Johnson that handed me a $5,000 check for the marina. That was a donation that this gentleman made, and that was very, very thoughtful on his part. So I'd like to say thank you for that. And finally, as we spoke on the last ops meeting, we have 5 gift cards for drawing for the this past covenant vote. We got a $250 one, a $200 one, a $100 one, and 2 50s. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to allow the audience to do the drawing. And if you're not here, then we will make contact with, and I'll let Mary Williams do the very first one.
Better not say Mary Williams.
Don't get out of my way. Can you read the number?
Can you read it?
Can you read it?
Yeah.
What name is it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not a name, it's a number.
No, it's a number.
It's a number.
Oh, it's a number?
Number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the number?
I'm sorry. that-
Come on, it's just like church. Come on.
Oh, 0, 1, no, 0, 4, 1, 9, 6, 0.
That'll be for the $250 one. Might as well give everybody a shot for the big one.
Okay, that belongs to account number 8092, last name Anise at 663 Middle Springs.
Ooh, that's close.
Did you say 666 Mill
No,
Spring?
663.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Steve, reach in there and pull one out.
All right, get out of here. All right, yeah, right here. Ticket is 041963.
This is for the $200 one.
963. Belongs to account number 8140, Mr. Sood of JB224. Good guy, good guy.
041959.
Ken mix that box up.
He did.
959,
Yep.
and that's for?
That's for the 100.
100, okay. That one goes to 8066 is account number Pingleton at 324 Gettysburg. They'll be happy, I think, the campground. Wait a minute, I got an extra one here. Okay.
number is 041876.
876.
That would be for one of the 50s.
Okay. That belongs to account number 6611 Cunningham. Mill Springs, 606. Okay.
Paid those. Last $50.
Bunch of them, how many did I pick up? Just one. That feels like mine. We've got 0420398765.
20.
One in every row.
You got the numbers?
Four,
He's such
two.
a liar.
Read it to me again, Ken.
042039.
39. That belongs to account number 8841 Weber at 521 Mill Springs.
We will make contact with these winners and they can come pick them up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
Okay, that moves us right along to old business for Paul Forbes. Marina update.
Well, you've probably been driving by there, so you probably know all this already, but I'll go right into the inside. We've got the mechanicals in, I'd say, second gear. Hopefully within the next few days, they'll be in third gear. But, the electricians started today, plumbers are working, the HVAC people are still working. All the duct work's in, getting ready to hook up the main equipment. The wiring's gonna be run by the electricians and other subcontractors, and after all that gets put into the building, the drywallers will follow them up. The roofing is kind of going at a snail's pace right now, and hopefully by the end of the week, weather permitting, we should have a roof completely on the building, at least the main part of the building. The glass is all in on the ends of the building, except for one panel. It didn't fit. Those are the kind of things that happen. So it'll probably be another 2 weeks before that panel is recut. The glass is it's all insulated glass. You can't just cut it because it's too big to work. You gotta remake it. So it's being remade, and unless there's any questions, come along. Yes?
Just with the wiring, so Endeavor has also been in there and doing their thing, or?
Endeavor has not been in there. They finally got their reports into the superintendent over there, so at least we know what they're going to be doing. They should be in there this week.
So they'll be in there before, obviously, the drywall goes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you what the conversations have been between Joe and Endeavor. I know that he's been conversing with everybody. He's anxiously awaiting all the wires to be run so that we can drywall.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Paul. B is covenant vote. It says Chris Schaefer.
Oh. I'll change it.
Would like to add one thing. As we start this new cycle, when the mailings go out, everybody's name goes into a drawing again, right?
Mhm.
So,
That votes.
so anybody who votes in the next cycle will be in the next drawing. So for those who are watching this and for those here, if you haven't voted, when you do vote, you'll go into the drawing for the prizes again later in the summer.
Thank you, Jim. And Jim Muhlenbein gave us an update on the covenants vote. I can't express enough that we have, what did Jim say, 53.3% people have voted, and we have 6.5 months to go. It's going to be very challenging to get there, and we have to put a lot of effort in the next 6.5 months to get get this done.
2/3.
New business, Country Marina Fuel, Bill Anderson.
Yeah, hi, Bill Anderson, 73 Jefferson Valley, and brought the guys from Coal Alliance here tonight to better explain and discuss around the opportunity to put in a new pump out there and be ready for the spring. So I'll let Doug go.
So, back issues, old and fat. So I represent Co-Alliance, and we're proposing to put in a new pump system, card reader capable, in a situation where we would put an adder over your regular price for a 3-year period. I can probably even do a 5-year period, whatever feels comfortable for you all, so that we can recoup our investment. We maintain ownership of the pump, therefore we maintain the maintaining of the pump going forward. So I brought Jeff Inman. He's Country Mart. He's the guy with all the answers. The quote that I emailed you was the quote that his guy put together, his installer put together, sight unseen. We just kind of gave him the layout. And so then they came Friday morning, I think they got here after you were able to, or after you needed to leave, to lay eyes on it and saw some areas where they're gonna need to tweak the original offer, but the original quote, but still probably be somewhere in the vicinity of what the original quote was. You wanna take over? So, hi, I'm Jeff. So basically, the original quote, sight unseen, the information I'd gathered is you guys wanted to be able to be unmanned, or be able to pump gas after hours, take credit cards outside. With all the new regulations coming up, what they call EMV is to read the chip, and for more security, there's rules and regulations with that. So the original quote was for a almost like a retail gas station type dispenser that's a little bit taller than where your one is at now. But you would be able to, take credit cards outside as well as inside. Comes with a cash register and a scanner, all of that. After coming in and looking at that, we've got two options. If we were to stick with the first option, we'd probably have to raise the cage where the fence is at to get that dispenser in there. The other option, the problem with that is where the small dispenser is sitting at now. It's really, for its age, it's small. They call that a sump underneath there. We'd have to come in and actually make a bigger island like they have at the retail stations, put a new sump in for that to work. Option 2 would be a smaller dispenser that we think would fit probably right on the one we got now. The problem is you could take credit cards now, but you wouldn't be able to read the chips until the technology catches up. Here in a few months, there'd be like another box that we could mount up to it to be able to, insert your cards. So I can work on that if that's something, you guys would rather do. It's all gonna be about the same amount money-wise. It's just a matter of preference. One other thing I saw that I'll mention is we opened up the sump for the submersible pump and looked in there and looked at the piping. If we were to get the job, something we could do. The piping that was used was an older piping that actually grows. It gets longer and has a history of busting. So it's inside. We think it's inside of another pipe. We could just pull that. It would be kind of a package deal with the dispenser and everything. So kind of get everything right. So I guess my question, from what I've said, if you guys have any questions, but my question would be for you guys, to determine if you want to raise that for the taller dispenser or go with the smaller one, which we'd have to come back in a few months and add the chip reader too. But the smaller one would be less expensive than the one with the bigger. Well, you got money putting the bigger sump in.
Yeah. So the smaller dispenser will not have a built-in. It won't have a reader right in the pump. It'll be a standalone unit. It'll be like a pedestal with a little box on there that you would program in. It'd be right beside it, but it wouldn't be connected to it like a retail dispenser.
How high would we have to raise that?
I forget what the dimensions were on that.
it wasn't very much. I think, just looking at how it's built, it would just be new 4x4 posts, just, replacing one at a time. A couple feet maybe. We'd have to probably measure.
A couple feet.
Yeah.
You're 79 inches now.
It was my plan to redo that anyway, just to kind of make it look a little nicer. I'd like to take the back of the fence, move it a little further away from the dispenser, because we're gonna put a ice maker on the back side of that, and it has to be so far away from the dispenser itself, so.
Yeah. So the benefits of that new dispenser now too, is if somebody were to actually like try to tip it over, the only gas that would ever leak out of it would be what's in the hose. The way it works, nobody can, turn the pump on without a credit card, and there'll be a switch on the inside to, to shut it off and on. So it'd be a lot more secure than what you have now.
Do these pumps communicate, well, we're getting a new point of sale?
Right. And that was in the original quote. It's called a Ruby CI. So, that's like what you guys see at the convenience stores with the little scanners for the drinks and everything. And then they'll be able to swipe credit cards for fuel sales there, as well as in, right there at the pump.
So it's possible the pump will be able to communicate with our new point of sale system?
Well, we quoted a new one. Do you guys currently have one that you've been using?
Point of sale system?
We used to.
I assumed you took credit cards, probably like a little scanner inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the other thing, that we'd have to update the quote, because we didn't see it. I assume the conduit that looks like it's been broken off or dug up right there at the new building was probably the lines running to the dispenser. So we would have to trench and bury conduit.
And that price is not in the quote?
No, to do that on the original quote, and my installer wasn't really able to get back to me with hard numbers today. Probably looking at about a little $6,000 more to go with the original quote, to do the trenching, run new conduit. That would be a bigger island, taking out what was there.
Will the existing plumbing work with the bigger unit, or will we
Yeah.
need new plumbing also?
Yep, it's I believe it's like 1.5 inch line that goes to it, so it's run underground inside of another pipe. So the only thing I would suggest replacing is the original, the 1.5 inch piping that's in there, because it'll bust on you eventually one day.
So what is that, any idea, approximate?
But that's in here, in this quote, the original quote.
To replace the pipe?
Yeah, if I got word which direction you guys wanted to go, we'd firm that up now that we've seen everything. One other unanswered question too was, the original quote had like an 8-foot retail station hose and the hanging hardware that goes with it, and I see now that won't reach out to the boats. So I think probably looking at it, you probably got a 20-foot hose now there. There's an option, we could go with a 20-foot hose. We can go with some kind of retractor that holds it up high, or even like a hose reel. It kind of depends.
What do you think would be best?
The reel would be nice.
Yeah, get it up off the ground.
I mean, that could even be mounted, to right there on one post or whatever.
I don't know if it makes any difference on this quote or for the whole project, but nobody's gonna be pumping gas without somebody out there.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna be.
Right.
No unmanned pumping.
Oh, okay.
So when the place is closed, it's closed.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then, just
Well, I mean,
just
I
because
guess-
we're gonna be swiping cards out there, there's still gonna be somebody out there.
Right.
Just like any other marine,
Okay.
just to prevent the gas from going into the lake.
Yep.
Does everybody think we should go with the bigger pump, from what he said?
What's the price gonna be on the smaller pump?
Is it be about the same as what I heard him say?
Yeah, it's gonna all be kind of about similar.
About the same?
Mm-hmm.
Be the same.
Be the same as the original quote. The bigger pump will be another
6,000.
6,000 because of the new sump.
And then whatever the adder would be for the hose length or the hose reel.
Hose reel, right?
Can we get an up-to-date quote with all these additions?
Absolutely. Just give you 2 different scenarios and
Yes.
Yes.
we can do that.
If you could do
Please.
that, and then we'll decide on which one, if that's
Sure.
okay?
Please.
But I think we need the quote updated for all the changes and that to look at, to see what we're really talking about.
Absolutely.
Just to let you guys know, I spoke with Brant, and they're gonna go ahead and focus on hooking up what we have, so we can be pumping gas in a few
You can
weeks.
operate.
So we got a little bit of time to study this, so,
Okay, so that brings up another question. Let's say we decide on this next month, and we've got our pump ready to pump gas. How much time is it down before we're back up again?
So I was talking with the installer about that. We can work with you guys and pick a day that maybe there's a day that's always slower than others or whatever. I think it'd be less than a day, but it could be something definitely scheduled that you could, make everybody aware of, like, ahead of time.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yep,
But you think you can do that in a day, no problem?
absolutely, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you're laying this new conduit, where does it enter the building? Is there an access point for you, or?
I don't know. Right now, it looks like there was probably, you guys would probably have to tell us where we would need to run it in for wherever everything would go, the cash register and all that.
I thought they were already running some kind of a conduit out there now. For Cat 5 or something?
If there's a conduit in the ground, they could possibly just run what they need to through the existing line.
But you wouldn't want to mix
They're going to for Endeavor.
Cat 5
Right,
with
Yeah.
Endeavor's gonna run.
power.
Yeah,
Right,
it's gonna be.
I'd have to ask that guy on that. They got insulated wire that they do that on some installs. I'd have to check on this one.
Yeah, I'm aware that Endeavor is gonna be running a wire through there now.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
A conduit for some wire.
From the gas pump to the building?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Did I hear you say we have built
Mhm.
have built in a point of sale system?
It will, in the quote, the original quote had what, was a Ruby CI listed as one of the light items, and that's the point of
All
sale.
right, look, I'm a financial guy, I don't know what a Ruby CI is.
Yeah.
What is that?
That is actually like the cash register, the scanner, and your credit card reader.
So we would be purchasing a cash register?
Well, it kind of comes with, as a group deal.
Okay, be
Yep.
trying to understand.
So the register will be outside?
No, it would be inside. If you choose to use it, if not, it's just kind of like a package deal that comes with the scanner and all that, so.
But is the communication from those devices?
It is.
Universal, where it would work with any?
Absolutely. It would work, it works, yeah. So if you guys had like, let's just say bottled water or something you were selling out of there, you could, set it up your SKUs and scan it, just like a regular gas station, basically.
No, but I mean, does the unit, the gasoline unit,
Uh-huh.
does it communicate universally with other POA systems?
It can. It communicates better with this one that we quoted.
One last question I have about, if you own the unit, would the price of this be pulled out a millage per gallon or something over 5 years, 10 years, or
I'd
3
say-
years?
Yeah, 3 to 5 years, we would have we'd be very transparent, we'd have an adder over the cost per gallon. And when we recoup our investment, then we just drop that adder.
All right, so then in terms of cash flows to the POA right now, we wouldn't have any cash flow stream. Is that right?
Right, I wouldn't think so, yeah.
Because you would pull construction cost, everything into that adder. All right, I haven't said that one last thing as it relates to I guess we're like a wholesale customer of yours, right? And we retail it?
Sure.
If you own the unit and you got us by the adder, how can we know that you're not charging us higher for the fuel? Just because you can?
Well, you can't. I mean, that's a good,
all I wanna know.
I mean, we won't do that.
That was all I wanted to know. That's a good answer.
Yeah, we won't do that. Something else I did shoot Ken as a side note, we can lock in your fuel price, for a season.
You mean like what they are now?
I can fix it. $1.98 a gallon before taxes right now is what my number was at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Market.
For RV fuel.
For gasoline. Now that's before taxes.
Well, what's your
Are you?
octane?
It's a 90.
Oh, we use higher than that, don't we?
No, you use 89.
Is this ethanol free?
Yes, sir.
That's what ours is.
Just
no ethanol, okay.
Yeah, markets have crashed as we all know, and what all the markets have done. Crude oil is down $10 today, a barrel.
So what's the add-on approximately?
we're not there yet as
Well,
far
you
as
gotta
numbers, right?
understand.
Right.
Yes.
It'd be that, whatever this number ends up being,
Then we
for
get-
3 to 5 years.
Based on, yeah, I mean, just roughly, based on what Ken gave me as a rough usage, 67,000 gallons a year, 65,000 gallons a year, 15 cents a gallon, would probably catch it in 3 years, roughly.
Did you say 15?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
doing mental
okay.
math here, which
Yeah.
I don't have much mental left, but, yeah, so, but that lock-in might be something you might wanna, cause like I said, at $1.98 is, that's,
We definitely do wanna look at that. How soon can we lock in? As soon as we get the price from
what
you?
time is it?
We can't do that tonight.
I know you can't, but I just,
we are very interested in this lock-in, I think, as far as where the numbers are today.
I've been doing this for 30 years, and when this gets when this round of whatever's driving it down gets past us, that market's gonna bounce north just as quicker than
I agree.
than it
I
dropped south.
think it will.
I'm shocked, I thought it was coming, but actually this morning it was heading north a little bit, and then end of the day, bam. So like I said, the $1.98 is a base price. Now, I do have a question. Are you all able to file and get your road taxes back on your gasoline?
I don't think so.
Do you know? I don't think we
I've
do.
got my controller working on that, because it seems to me like you ought to be, because that's a road use, that's a road tax.
It'd be great if you can find that out for it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Does anybody here know? I don't.
I would think you'll be able to get that back. That's, 31 cents on state and 18.4 on federal. So it's not being used for road use. Of course, the presentation he made earlier about the highway not being able to fix stuff because they won't have enough tax money, that might not make them real happy.
What was the state number?
I'm sorry?
What was the state number you just quoted?
31.
31.
State excise and 18.4, yeah, on federal. And there's a use tax, which that's like sales tax, which you're exempt from that.
Yeah, I guess the only thing is, as you look through the quote, it's called a Ruby CI, the cash register. It would be an actual cash register, you could see the size of it, that would have to be located inside the marina. And if there would be some way it could interface with our current system, that cash register costs $5,600.
Could you check the system we're
It
putting
can't
in?
work in our own cash register?
Well,
That's what has to be verified.
Yeah.
can you verify, because the system we purchased is called VEND,
How you spell that?
VEND. If you could see if that would communicate to that?
Yep, I sure will.
or be
So we wouldn't have to add this additional $5,600 cash
That's
register.
kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. Is that Purdue education?
I have one other question. Also, I know I wasn't here when you guys presented this last time, and I've heard that this question was asked, but I'd like to have the answer again. Most of our gas is used on the weekend, and I guess you guys said that you're gonna have, if we need 2 deliveries on a Sunday, or 3 deliveries on a Sunday, that's gonna be possible.
Yeah, we've got guys.
I mean, we've got Bill's number, he can always get a key to that
There you go.
truck.
There you go. Put him in it. Now, you're talking probably about the big 3, right? The big 3 holidays, your Memorial Day, your
No,
July
I'm
4th.
talking about weekends during the summer. Lois, you can speak to that.
Sometimes weekend during the summer, we have to have 2, if it's like nice weather.
Okay.
If it's raining, nobody's buying gas, but
Yeah.
if it's nice weather, then.
Okay.
So obviously, as a community, we need to count on the worst-case scenario.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that worst-case scenario is a weekend could provide us with 3 deliveries at the most, but it could provide us with that. And we just have to, because that's all we need to do is stop pumping gas on weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
They built a new tank farm a few years ago just in Bay Bridge, if you go towards Precast 136, and so that's where they stock the fuel, so it's very close.
Okay.
So is the answer yes?
Yes.
Is there an add-on for
We have-
each time you do a delivery?
Yes, we will have an add-on for a weekend
Do you
delivery.
know how much that is, or?
We can either do a gallon or just a flat rate of $100 or 10 cents a gallon or.
So any weekend delivery, that happens?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice try.
Now, do they fill you, currently, do they fill you on Fridays?
They do, they fill us on Friday and then they come back.
Got back on Monday?
Yeah,
Uh,
Sunday, Saturday, then Sunday, whatever we need them, they come back.
You know, you could have a bass tournament early Saturday morning
Mhm.
and have a beautiful 90-degree day on Saturday, and we're out of gas.
Right,
So-
right. Yeah, so that 2,700 gallons you gave me is most.
So, if I understand this right, at any Saturday or Sunday delivery, we're gonna have a delivery charge.
Right.
Okay. That's gonna get pretty pricey. Because we have one every weekend, if that weather's nice, we'll have one, at least one on a weekend.
Right.
And that's only a 2,000 gallon tank.
Mhm.
And that's gonna eat into our profits real quick.
Yeah.
That was just a fact. We got it.
Back to that lock-in, how long is that 12-month lock-in on price, or what is that?
I did that for, no, I did that for what I consider to be your season. I did that for June, July, and August.
I heard you say season, so I,
That's,
okay.
yeah, figured that's the vast majority of your,
90 days.
yeah. Now, I can go, I can go out September, I can go May, but I'm guessing that June, July, August is probably the big hit, right, for the.
For the majority, you're probably right.
Okay, yeah.
Anyone else have questions? Okay, you're gonna get us back 2 sets of numbers.
Yep.
When will you have those? Do you know? I don't know.
Within a couple days, I would think.
Good.
Yep. We're doing a little research on the second option, trying to get a guy to get back to us on that technology that's coming out here in a few months.
We're at the mercy of a contractor, and y'all know how that is, right?
Yeah.
But Ken, can I just ask you again, that POS system you guys have is V-E-N-V as in Victor?
Vend, V-E-N.
Victor, Edward, Nora, David.
Oh, Vin. Petrovin.
Vin.
It's a Petrovend, probably.
Petrovin?
It's just Vin.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I know, it's just Vin.
Now,
I don't think it has anything to do with Petro.
For everything.
if Endeavor's running a conduit from our building out to the pump, which I heard tonight for the first time, I wasn't aware of that, that would save us $6,000, is that what I heard?
Well, there was
If
other
we can
stuff.
utilize their conduit.
Register, or they're,
Yeah, there was some other stuff in that. I'll get a quote, assuming that you guys have enough conduit. And if anything, we just have to run wires.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that
Yeah.
would drop.
Let's go that way,
Okay.
because I heard they're running a pipe, correct?
Yep.
You know that for sure? Okay.
And the electricity is already taken care of, because I don't think you could have the Cat 5 in the same conduit as the electricity.
I wouldn't think so. I think you're right.
used to be that way for sure. I don't know if they've.
That's why they're running the conduit.
Yeah, unless it's shielded or something like that.
In any conversation I've ever had with Endeavor, they will not put any electrical in the same conduit with the Cat 5.
Okay.
That's all I know. And you guys are saying, do I know this? Yeah, it's all
No,
been covered in the meetings.
If that's what they said, then okay.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yep.
okay.
I do remember that saying.
Okay, that's what we'd like to have them do then, right?
Yep.
Anything else?
Just the only thing, Ken, would we be able to possibly share with them the name of the vendor who we're working with for this point of sale system?
Just did.
The name of
He
it.
spelled it.
It's Vin.
V-E-N-D, Vent.
It's the actual company. So
Yes.
in other words, we're not going with somebody who sells the Vent product.
No, it's the Vin. It's the Vin company.
That's probably not Petrovin. Okay. Never heard of it.
Okay, anything else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Real
all.
quick, real quick question, if I need to bring the installer back, would that be something we could schedule? Him just stop by and
Sure.
maybe check something out? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give me a heads up, just because.
Well, more than what we did the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we were
trying to
pressed
beat the
for time after the last one, so, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank
Thanks.
y'all. Have a good evening.
Now, if they get this back to us in a few days, are we gonna need to approve this before next month's meeting? That's my question. I
I
don't know.
don't see why, if it only takes a day to put it in.
Okay.
And the other one works.
Yeah,
They'll have the other one working. That's where I'm at. I just wanna make sure
I don't
that,
see any reason, Rick.
okay.
I also think, Rick, as a practical matter, to get closer to the project completion, and we know where we are in terms of total costs, we might just take a different approach.
Right.
There is, we are comparing some options. Now, the nice thing about this one is it's built into the price of the gas and we don't have to come up with any cash. That's the positive part about it. There are some negatives. That, the reason I asked that question was to see if we were gonna pay for that Sunday delivery, and obviously we are.
That was a great
And
question.
keep in mind that just because they add the money onto, he said he could add it onto the per gallon price rather than asking for delivery charge, it's still gonna come out of our pocket.
Right.
Or our members' pockets.
So that hurt.
It's all coming out of all of our pockets.
Correct, so we have to make that.
Decision.
And they're not the only one we're looking at. We're looking at the existing vendor and,
I understand that.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just sitting there, we have roughly 25 weeks. That is if we just have one delivery, that's not counting holidays, maybe we had a second one on a Sunday or something, that's $2,500. That, we might as well at that point, I'm gonna say we'd probably be breaking even on fuel. Unless we keep it.
And keep in mind that, this discussion is gonna be carried on later on. They're gonna charge us for everything they're putting in, and it still remains theirs. If we buy a unit, and we can afford a unit within the same period of time, the unit remains ours. And we can use whatever supplier we want to use.
But this unit becomes ours after the 3 or 5 years that you agree, or they own it forever?
They own it forever.
That's why
They own it.
I wanted to make sure.
They own it because they have to maintain it, so they have to own it, which ties us in. So if we get tired of paying for deliveries on Saturday and Sunday, we'd have to go get another vendor because they'll take that pump out and we'll have to put our own pump in, right? Ken, you were there once, weren't you?
Yep.
So those are the things you have to consider when we make this decision.
All right.
Or you get a bigger tank.
That would be almost impossible with the room we have there. That's the problem there.
You'd have to be up the hill
Yeah.
on the other side of where the beach is. And then we have to run, gravity would help us there because of the grade, but man, I don't know. I don't know.
When we first looked at this, we got some pricing from you there. It was gonna cost about as much as the building. It was, because it's all double-walled pipe or triple-walled pipe from wherever, if we put the tank over there, all the way to the other side. That was several thousands of dollars.
Okay. Is that enough on A for new business for this evening?
Yeah, I got a headache.
Here, here.
Covenants to Vote Committee, Jim Johnson.
Well, I'm just gonna do two of them together, the Covenant Vote Committee and the Marina Completion Committee. As it relates to the Covenant Vote Committee, I'm gonna be asking, I'll be chairing that committee. And Chris Schaefer's has volunteered to work with us as a non-board member as we sprint towards the finish line on this. And Paul Forbes, he would also be a co-chair. So we'd be the three people that would be involved. But we're going to be asking community members as much as possible Later on, as we get closer to the end, we're gonna be going by neighborhood, street by street, house by house, making sure that we get everybody to cast their ballot, as well as making phone calls for people that live out of state and all of that. Then as it relates to the Marina Completion Committee, it'd be the same three people would be chairs, but Paul Forbes would be the chairman of the Marina Completion Committee. And we're not gonna need much community assistance in that regard, but we are gonna try to convene a small group of people to decide about last minute fundraiser kind of things. Maybe a night at the marina while it's still under construction where people could come in, get a soda pop, get a glass of wine, get some cheese or something like that. Maybe pay 10 or 15 or 20 bucks to come in and then have the people talk about it, you know, the vendors who've done work, and get the dream in front of them just before we're finished. So that kind of stuff, we'll be asking the community for help for that. That's it. Got two at one time.
Okay, you sure did. Okay, so we need a vote on that then this evening, or?
I would like it to make sure the board doesn't have any objections to my chairing, Paul chairing, Chris and Paul with me on the covenant committee, and Chris and I with Paul.
Questions, discussions, concerns?
No?
Everybody good?
So,
You wanna make a motion then, Jimmy?
Yeah, I motion that we accept the thing as I've out, the committee chair as I've outlined on both of those projects, and also the co-chairs.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Get that, Deborah?
Got it.
Okay, we'll move us right to D. Thanks, Jimmy. Refurbished dispenser, Jeff's gone, has Ken Rozelle's name there too.
Yeah, it's like how he was gonna talk about this and then he bolts. I made everybody a copy. I know Jeff had started doing some research, and he found a company in Minnesota that builds and rebuilds fuel dispensers. This picture on the second page is the exact one that he's referencing. It was actually at a marina that he was quoting. This dispenser there is $5,900. It's got a 90-day warranty. All components are new or rebuilt. It's $5,900 for that dispenser. It sounds like to me, with the height and everything, is fairly close to what they were quoting. He can install a card reader for $600, which would make it $6,500. There is a delivery charge of, I did call him, and he said as of last week, it was $300 to have it shipped here. The thing that when I called and asked him, I noticed it had a place for two nozzles. There's two options here on this one. Obviously, my first thought was, and it was suggested, well, we have two handles there. That's not to be able to pump two different, boats. That's not the case, because there's only, on each side, there's only one screen, one card reader. So we could either just utilize the one side, and if we ever had any problems, we could shift it over to that side, or we could have the other side will have could have a screen on it, to where we can split these two handles on there to be able to actually pump two boats at the same time. You would just, one boat would be metering on this side, the other boat would be metering on the other side. But both handles will be on the front. be my guess that the chances of us right now having, having two boats wanting to pay with a credit card at the pump at the same time, maybe slim. If you wanna save the $600, I would say we could get, have one dispenser one credit card reader on just one side. But for $600, we could put them on both sides.
What do you think?
There's times when we got three boats out there trying, and they're waiting for fuel. So,
What would it do to you if you were able to do more than one at a time? How would you watch it?
You have to have two people.
We have,
Plummet different.
we have people that fill their own boats up. We have to watch. We don't do every boat. There's guys that fill their boats up because they know how the gas goes in the boat.
Yeah.
There's boats that you start,
A bubble back at you, and, yeah.
gas flies all over. That's why I have a little spray bottle out there to spray the gas, but two would be fine. I mean,
Two what, card readers or just
no,
handles?
two hand, like you wanted. I mean,
If you're only saving $600, it's probably worth it to go ahead and add it. Because we probably have multiple times in the summer when we have to fill a boat, pull it up, and then you have to make sure you got the amount on that, read the amount of money they owe before you turn that and start filling another one. So the second one probably come in handy.
And there would be enough parking space for
Well,
two?
there's stuff for three boats, you can get three boats up there.
it all depends on how long we got the,
Along the hose.
Yeah, the hose length would be a big deal, yeah.
right now, we did three boats
Yes.
at once there.
I did,
Just held it and waited till the next one came in and.
No, we had three there at the same time, they're just pulling in. I mean, on busy days, you got them lined up,
Yeah.
and, we get them out, in and out as fast as we can.
Okay.
I did make contact with Gordon, our current supplier, and ask him if, he'd be willing to work with us on getting it installed. He says he can't do it because you gotta be licensed to do that, but he's got a guy that he works with, and he checked with them, and once we would get it, or if we would get it, I've got here a 2-week lead time for him to get it scheduled to install it.
Kim, weren't there questions about two different types? One of them like pumps up, one of them pulls up, two different types of pump?
Siphon and, yeah.
Are they the same price?
Siphon,
Or
yeah.
do we know what kind we
That's-
have?
That's kind of all in the way of plumbing it.
Yeah. So what we're doing now could be different,
Yeah, but I don't think we're talking,
not much different?
no,
Okay.
just some different plumbing of pipe.
So what was the total then for our RL Consulting? 5,900 plus 6,500 plus,
No, let's say
900 plus
59,
600.
63.
Yeah,
Which comes up to 6,500,
okay,
okay?
that's what.
and then $300
Plus
for
shipping.
delivery.
Then
So it's $6,800 total.
install, we don't know what that's a variable.
And possibly the hose. I don't know if this includes the hoses.
It'll certainly be less.
I don't know, I'm gonna say probably wouldn't.
Did we get the hoses off of him?
Yeah, Gordon supplied the hose, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he
Whenever
did.
we had a problem, he would get the part, bring it and put it on.
Yeah. I believe he got the hoses.
But we would own it at the end of the period,
And then,
and we wouldn't be holding.
We wouldn't
If
be
the price
held.
was right and we could afford it, we wouldn't have to charge our members more. You know, and I'll tell you, $1.98 today is retail.
right,
I got $1.83 last night.
Wow.
So he's gonna give us a guarantee of $1.
Where at?
Any one of the BPs, if you get one of their cards,
Okay,
it's just a debit card out of my bank account,
okay.
$1.83.
I got it at 89 today, $1.89.
Whooped him.
I thought I was doing good too, too.
I hardly ever bite.
Okay, with that on D, no decision has to be made this evening, is that where we're at on that?
Right.
And we still don't know what the cost for the installation would be
For this.
on this.
You know, why don't I get that information, the cost on that, and, I'll verify the, you know, the hose, if we have to pay for the hose, if we have two, and then, give you a chance to kind of study what Co-Alliance brought to you.
So we'll just leave this on the agenda for next month, both items, A and D.
Ken, you got time to get that done for next month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, that takes us to the open forum. This is the time the membership can stand up, ask questions, concerns, or comments. I just ask if you raise your hand, you'll be acknowledged. Stand up and give your name and your address, please. I saw Harold Pato very first, sorry.
Harold Pato, 189 Mill Springs, still. I got an email from Ken Roselle about Jack's.
Oh, I was thinking, I did? I sent you an email?
Well, you signed it.
Yeah, I understand.
Regarding our recycling from Jack's, the recycling bin, I talked to Jack as well. I think we need it. I think we need two of them, one on this side of the lake and one on that side. I talked to Jack about doing it, and what would it cost us? I think it's worthwhile for the community to use it. Where are you gonna take your recycling now? Just put it in the garbage, right? Nobody's gonna go to Greencastle or to Coatesville. Maybe Tom.
Well, they did it before we had it.
Huh?
We went to Coatesville before.
They did it before we had it.
I have a neighbor that takes it to
I
Pittsburgh.
didn't.
Well,
I put it in the garbage.
okay, well, 20%, I guess all we're doing is, according to, from what he told me, I think we're just paying. Dwayne?
Dwayne.
I think, from what I understand from him, is that only 20% of that whole container was recyclable. It was being filled with trash, so what we're doing is promoting everybody having free trash service.
Well, I think, didn't we say something about maybe having a camera over there at the maintenance building to see what's going on?
Oh my God, we're monitoring cameras there, we're monitoring cameras at the
They're cheap
marina.
today. They're cheap, I mean.
Not to monitor them, it's not.
$100.
The camera's cheap.
Camera's cheap, who's gonna monitor them, you?
Yeah, on my phone, it'll come right up on my phone.
Every time somebody, well, I mean, every
I
time
got one
somebody
in my
goes.
house.
Did he say what the cost would be? Right
No,
now?
he's gonna look into the cost,
Oh, okay,
okay?
all right.
Because I ran into a couple people that were taking and recycling stuff there as well.
He just
He said-
expressed to me that he wanted to pick it up and be done with it because it was costing him too much money. I know it doesn't matter to me, but when a guy offering something that is free, that is costing him,
Well, it was
because
good advertising for him, number one.
He's
He
paying
probably
for it.
got some residential. We've got 3 trash people out here today. Have we talked to any of the other ones to do it?
absolutely, they all turned me down.
Well, are we willing to pay for this? Do we know what it would cost? We haven't got a clue, right?
Then you're gonna get that information for us.
I'll get that information with Ken. Jack's gonna get back to me and let me know.
Okay.
Okay, bring that to Ken if you would, please, when you get the number.
Okay. Because I think it's worthwhile.
Okay.
And
No,
we
it's-
can take it, and then it's our responsibility what they're putting in there.
Well, it's a good service, but maintaining what goes in is our big problem that we can't take care of today. Just get the price and we'll look at it.
I mean, that's just educating the members.
It's kind of like the guy that did the fence. He didn't live here, Harold.
Huh?
The guy that did the damage to the basketball court,
Yeah,
he didn't live here.
he didn't want.
He did not live here. He did not have a lot here. He was not a member.
Oh, you mean that we're gonna have
So how do we keep
people coming in?
non-residents out
It's
of it?
county roads. Anybody can drive on them roads.
Well, once they get off that county road, that's Heritage Lake or Conservancy property. It's on Conservancy property.
I just think the question is gonna be how much do you wanna pay for it, because it's gonna.
I'm willing to pay.
Because it's just gonna, if right now it's a free service and they're cramming mattresses and TVs in that hole, next thing, if they put another dumpster out, it's gonna be dishwashers and, you know, and small cars and whatever they can put in there.
Just get Kid a price when you get that, please.
Yeah, we'll get a price.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Don Williams, 138, this gentleman that did that, why didn't they confiscate his truck? Since he didn't have insurance on it, he legally couldn't drive it away without insurance, why didn't they confiscate it for property damage?
Well, you can't do that because because Freeman didn't put a hold on it. We had no reason to hold it because all it takes is for him to bring a licensed driver with insurance, proof of insurance to drive it away or tow it away.
Second question, your current gas supplier, he doesn't have that kind of equipment to set up the marina?
He doesn't have that deep of pockets to,
Because to me, it seemed like every time you ask Co-Alliance a question, and then.
Add on.
Exactly.
Add on.
And then,
That's-
then the maintenance charge, they're gonna tack on to your wholesale price, 15 cents. Are you gonna pass that on to the customer when they buy gas?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it works.
Take your pick.
On their price.
Yeah.
And then you got $100 to deal with.
On delivery.
They just keep going up every time they ask.
yeah.
We're gonna take a look at that.
And then the pump you're talking about, is that the pump for the marina? You were just, I can't hear that good.
Yes.
Don't they furnish? Does the Co-Alliance furnish, or are they just the fuel?
They're
The
furnishing
pump
the
you were
pump.
just talking-
They're good.
They're furnishing the pump.
They're furnishing the pump.
Yeah. What was the refurbished one you're talking about?
That's a different company.
That's a different, but was that for the marina?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's two different options we're looking at.
Okay.
And the one's gonna be,
Oh, then also in his deal, when we were picking up cans the other day, there was trash line on both sides of the green thing on the ground.
and that's another thing he had told Ken, that he's been picking up all the trash and,
And then, in another option, where I do work with the Humane Society, we get TVs dumped on us behind the store, mattresses, you name it, we got one of these so-called cameras, but unless we know your name, we'd have no idea who's doing it, and that's what we'll have over there.
thank you, Don. Dwayne?
Dwayne County, 282 Patriots Landing. And not that anybody cares, but since you're on trash, in Greencastle, they're having exactly the same thing. We got 2 trash bins, 1 trash, 1 recycle. It's got so bad that they're sending 2 guys out on the trucks. They look in your recycle container, and if it's not all recyclable, they take the container.
Thank you, Dwayne. Rick?
Rick Miller, 26 Gettysburg. I was just listening to that Co-Alliance presentation with a good deal of interest, and I just have 2 pieces of free advice, take it or leave it. When you talk about the weekend deliveries, you know, they were a little wishy-washy on that. I would make them put a performance clause in the contract for that. That's just free advice. The other one, you know, have them tell you what kind of cable they need to run between the marina and the pump, and have one of these guys run it at the same time. Cable's cheap, even if you don't use it.
You're right.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And we're not set on Co-Alliance. I want everybody here to understand, we've got 2 options right now. We're not set on them this evening. We can go either way, or even another option possible. Phil?
Phil McGinley, 330 Patriots Landing. If I understood correctly, it sounds like we have been paying road tax on the fuel here, And I do think that's a significant error. At the marinas that I've been involved with in the past at other lakes, they never pay the road tax. The only thing you have to be very careful about is making sure they don't pump gasoline into anything that's a road vehicle. If somebody pulls up in a moped, you say, no, can't service that. But typically marinas do not pay the road tax. And that'd be a
I'm not
significant
sure that
savings.
we are. I think that was just a,
Was that an error?
that was just an add-in.
Okay, all right. We shouldn't be.
I'm pretty sure we're not,
Okay.
On
so.
that vein, it was my understanding that RV gas as delivered did not include taxes. And that's why it's always a separate pump like up at BP.
I don't ever recall seeing a road tax on those invoices.
RV,
Yeah, it's the non-ethanol fuel.
Recreational
Recreational
vehicle,
vehicle.
not the RV that goes on the road.
Right,
There's a difference.
Right, it's the
Yeah.
off-road.
right.
But you can pull up to those tanks in any kind of vehicle and fill them, so it seems like
Yeah.
they probably would have to charge the road tax. I don't know the answer to that.
Does the
I
fact-
am 99% sure we are not paying
Good.
for road tax,
Good.
okay? I know that we have to do the state and federal, but I believe that's all that's on there. Plus, we get a discount on every receipt that's turned in because it's paid within 10 days with gas oil, so.
Anyone, oh, go ahead.
Steve Forsgren, 117 Lincoln Hills. I'm here in two capacities. Actually, one is, of course, as a resident of Heritage Lake, but the other is a representative of the United States Census. And just want to let you all know that we're in the final stages of hiring people. Just like the vote has been very difficult to get enough people to vote, we're at about 62% of where we need to be in this county. And I'm sure we're going to go on without it if we can't get the people. But we've got almost 40 jobs just from our census tract laying there available at $19.50 an hour for a part-time job, make your own hours, 58 cents a mile to compensate you for the use of your vehicle. All you have to be is 18 years of age and up, and a citizen. And there's even waivers for that if they need special language, like they need people in Tippecanoe County that can speak Chinese. So they don't have to be, they've waived that citizen requirement just to get some Chinese speakers. We need to count people, we can't be undercounted for a lot of reasons. Representation is one, but the other is that the government gives out and disperses about $675 billion every year in various grants and programs that, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If we don't show enough people out here, we're gonna miss out on grants for ambulances and hospitals, emergency room care, roads, everything you can file a grant for to get federal money. So it's important that we do this, and we're not asking for people to come in for free. We're gonna pay $19.50 an hour for your time. And that time is from the time you leave your house till the time you get back to your house. And there's also paid training. So if we just try to get a little more community awareness, we're gonna keep recruiting for a little while longer, probably through the end of the month, but then it's gonna end. We're gonna go with who we have.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, Steve, I know people don't like to get unwanted emails, but if you would send me something to put out in an email blast to everybody that would simply state, looking to employ anybody from Heritage Lake that would need a part-time job, and the benefits of why it's important. I think if we could explain why it's important and what we would be missing out on, I'd be glad to put that together and send it out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Lois.
Lois Napier, 312 Mill Springs. Today, we were treated, the marina crew was treated to a trip to the marina. We got to see the inside the building. We've got a separate little room for our baits, so they're all in there together. Everything looks great. The ceiling is beautiful. It's this big vaulted ceiling with wood up there to look at. It's just great. So everybody, you're gonna love it when you get there. I already do. So come and see the marina.
Thank you, Lois.
It belongs to all of us.
It is all of us.
Wait till you see the bathrooms.
They're big. They're definitely big, and they're indoors.
Anyone else? If not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thanks for coming, everyone. Ask your friends and neighbors come next month. It's gonna get interesting with this marina opening. Thank you. Executive meeting in 5 minutes?
Sure. Thanks for coming. Wash your hands.